Welcome to second stage, everyone. In the last round, Nada Donut, Navy, and ZX joined the game as our final 3 All-Stars, and I introduced the major twist of second stage, cards. People really took the twist and ran with it, I've gotta say. Before we get there though, we've got a few confessionals to get through. Trico said, I know my strategy will more than likely backfire, but I've been so busy lately and I have such little free time that I just don't have the time to try and make a good response, and also change it so that it passes technicals but doesn't get ruined. Hey, I feel that, man. Life's hard. ACN said, before balancing, I was this close to cheesing the entire round with a 239 boost, in the other direction, with a Suicide King. Have fun, Corb. You know I was never gonna leave that in, come on. Ali% said, if you were wondering why Trico's confessional was read first this round instead of these usually flowing alphabetically, blame me, I refuse to be a creature of habit. You're welcome, Trico. And Epic said, hello, I have come to tell you that I am currently being tailgated by Epsilon. This has been going on for 2 hours. I have been driving on the highway and he has been exactly 1.37 inches behind my car for the last 2 hours. I cannot stop driving because I know if I stop, Epsilon is going to ram into the back of my car with full force. Corbulent said, Marbleside deserves a mention. Mr. Dell said, holy shit, I did not expect Phase 2 to go like this. I quickly guessed in the host DMs that this twist would be akin to roguelike with points being equal to reroll tokens. I was wrong, but this is even better. I'm hoping not to acquire too much damage this round, but I think my equip card should be enough. Also, did you know that no All-Stars have the letter Q in their name? That's really cool. Thanks, Mr. Dell. Navy sent this image. Alright then, that's it. Now let's get into the nonsense. The prompt was, you figured out a way to get paid for having an utterly useless profession. One day, people find out, and you have to try and justify why your pointless job is actually incredibly important. How do you explain your pointless job? So, who won? Well, alright, let's see here. Okay. Oh, it's close. Oh, looks like it's the name's H. 3 wins in a row is honestly insane. There are a few differences on the leaderboards here. Obviously, I'm showing everyone's card layouts next to their names. The score is split in 2 now, with boosted on top and raw on the bottom. For those of you who haven't been following super closely, raw score is the score each player receives from voting alone, while boosted score is what's actually counted, and is each player's raw score added to the boost they receive from their chosen cards. I've also changed the points area to show damage instead. Remember, less damage is better. H had the highest boost this round out of anyone, to pretty much nobody's surprise, with an unbelievable 45% boost. H also picked out an index card this round and he used it to submit the prime numbers technical. In second place is proof that sometimes, all you need to succeed is just raw skill. Despite being completely broke, definitely not places second. This is the Death Knot I'm used to, and I was a huge fan of his response. It's in my top 5 this round for sure. Death Knot's great ball attempt on Corbulet succeeded too, but on the flip side, Death Knot's going to be bit in the ass a little from that debit card he took. If Death Knot is our secondary player this round, then our tertiary player is Subtly. Just a couple of solid technicals with a very strong response. Ironic is the first person to play so far who didn't buy Block of Wood. Instead, Ironic's build was pretty simple and he mainly relied on Forests to augment his boost. It also helps that he had a really funny response, of course. ZX did what ZX does and bought both of the rules cards to restrict himself from using letters of the alphabet. He also used a band-aid, meaning that he only took 1 damage this round. That move effectively bumped ZX up to tied for second overall, for the time being. To continue the walk-on chain, Navy took the purple sign and ran with it, although this is probably a real job that someone has out there. His driver's license failed, unfortunately. Just too good. Gizmo did a similar thing but with a lot more boost and a lot less raw score. Great joke in your response, Gizmo. Plasmic Trojan showing up at 8th means that anyone who bought a reinforced band-aid this round failed to make use of it. I think Trojan probably had my favorite response of the round, it's great. Not great enough to win the lottery, though. You all know who won in raw score, I'm sure. Here they are. Gray wins the round raw with their genius circular logician response. Unfortunately, Gray's only boost came from the prime numbers technical, and as a result, their reinforced band-aid didn't activate. Still, 9th is good. Tragically, the other reinforced Band-Aid user, 96LB, also barely missed out on negating his damage. That would have been clutch for 96, too, as he took some extra damage from using the lovers. He also duplicated his debit card twice, meaning he's staring down a 24% penalty next round. We'll see how he mitigates that. Razor had an incredibly creative response. Pretty good raw score, too, but he only had a 7% boost from Swamp and the prime numbers technical. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not entirely sure what Ghost Response means, but it did well enough, so I guess I'm in the minority. That 31% standard deviation seems to suggest that I'm not alone, though. TR is one of 2 players this round to figure out a loophole for the $2 bill. He used the 2-letter string PI, which is technically a number. I'll spoil the fact that, yeah, I'm patching that out later this video. Fair game for round 4, though. Another thing to note is that TR had the second highest boost this round. Still almost 10% behind H, though. Not a Donut placing 14th means that all 3 walk-ons managed to place in the top half this round. Good job, you 3. You've definitely all proven formidable competitors at this point. NAD is one of 2 people to use a response coupon, which is pretty cool. Mr. Dell's response was a bit weirdly worded to fit the words he got from Q card, but he made it work well enough. His Great Ball worked out. Hopefully he'll get a card he can actually use from Corpulent. Chirito was our only gambler this round, and he'll receive 2 extra points next round as a result of winning that. He pulled off a respectable boost for someone who didn't modify their response at all to fit cards, but he did get passed by quite a few people. I have no idea what Meowie Cat's response means. She was the other person besides TR to cheese a few percent out of $2 bill with PI. She tried to justify using I and E also, but I cut her down at that point. Cyclonic's response tanked, predictably, but his pretty big boost pulled him up the leaderboard. Legend Finder was the only player to purchase the 10-point MasterCard. He beat 11 people, so Legend will receive a 1-point discount on his cards next round. Honestly, I have no idea how good that's going to be. Could be great, could be useless. We'll see, I guess. Ali% had a contender for one of my favorite responses, but spending all of your points on pranking the names H will inhibit your boost just a bit. Wyatt's got some Inception type stuff going on in the top there. That represents his draw 2, which gave him blank card, which he used to duplicate his plaque. That was a 9% jump between him and Ali, by the way, in case you didn't catch it. I'm not really sure what Not a Donut's DRP meant, so I'm not super surprised it ended up so low. Winning Unity is the most prolific shopper so far, though that's partly due to the fact that I accidentally gave him 1 extra point this round by making a mistake on my back end. He got destroyed by his RNG strategy and ended up discarding a lot, though, so he really deserved the help. A 0.75 multiplier on damage isn't bad, though. Marbleside's response is really funny to me. I love absurdity. I'm sad and honestly surprised that it placed so low. We went 0 for 2 on driver's licenses this round, I'm afraid. An epic, I know it was worth it, I don't even have to ask. ACN was the only person to go all in on a healing run. It worked out alright, taking him down from 24 damage to 11. Granted, it did involve a little bit of RNG with question mark card to optimize. Cobalt, Peloto, and Jolene didn't use the shop this round. I hate to say it, but the shop is probably mandatory if you want to move on to 3rd stage. Ali figured out a way to basically buy a meme DRP for 2 points, so that's pretty funny. 2 people are left, Corpulent and Trico. They've effectively proven one thing. Suicide King is, in fact, a potential option. For one person at a time. They both finished more than 40% below Jolene, but only 13% apart from each other. That's a steep uphill to climb for both of them in terms of damage. Corp's question mark card duplicated his fake ballot, which is actually a thing that can happen, and that allowed him to vote on 3 sections, 9 screens total. Something I found really funny is how a lot of fake ballot users were pissed at how much extra work they gave themselves. Corpulent, predictably, submitted the index card technical that required you to mention him. Only Cobalt Forever passed Corp's technical. Trico's response did not, in fact, cheese anything. It was just a calculated attempt to piss people off, and it definitely worked. If only they both hadn't tried doing Suicide King in the first round of 2nd stage, for some reason. So, here's a leaderboard of everyone's damage values. You already know all this. There are 4 more rounds left to go, so even if you're way down at the bottom this round, you can definitely make that gap up. 10 spots are a fairly big amount in a pool of 30. Block of Wood was the most popular card this round, with an absurdly high 12 people taking it. Behind that was Fake Ballot with 10 users, and tied for third were Great Big Purple Sign out front and Debit Card with 6 users each. In total, 42 unique cards saw use this round, which is honestly way more than I expected. Nobody used the following cards: Union Jack, probably because it's a bit vague, Parking Ticket, because you literally can't use it in round 4, Ultra Ball, Pokeball, Donor Card, Planes, because it's almost entirely useless in round 4, Temperance, and half a response coupon. Maybe some of these cards will see use next round, maybe they won't. That's going to depend both on how the meta develops and on what's about to happen next. Here we are, the season's first balance patch. Every change I mention here will be changed on the shop spreadsheet as soon as this video's premiere ends. Great Big Purple Sign out front has had its wording changed to limit you to items from the rapid fire section only. You can also only use their full names now, so you'd have to say Trailer Hitch Demagnetizers in full, not just trailers or demagnetizers. Changing plurals to singular and vice versa is still allowed, and you can still separate items like Duracells and Energizers, since they're clearly separate. The reward for passing an index card technical has been buffed to 3%, and I've added a clause to prevent technicals that are easier for certain people. $2 bill has been clarified, and now only integers count for the boost. Union Jack isn't being changed, but I will say that British slang is being taken on a case-by-case basis. I do have someone outside of the competition I can ask for rulings about cases I'm not sure on. UN Flag now has an added clarification stating that borrowed words must be identical in function in English and in their original language, and that they must be accurate to the present day. No dead languages and no archaic versions of living languages. I'm making a blanket change to Island, Hidden Block card, and Draw 2. If you draw Ace of Diamonds or Insurance card from any of these, you'll have the cost of the original card put into the new card. So if you spend 3 points on an island, you'll get those 3 points put into Ace of Diamonds if you draw it. The cap on Donor card has been raised to 15 damage. The 50% increase on damage from the Lovers has been removed. Suicide King now requires you to address the prompt and to not include Key Smash. This is honestly just being added so I can continue allowing people to submit meme DRPs. And that's all. I made some cards more in line with what I intended, and I tried to make a few unpopular cards a bit more appealing. Hopefully you can all exploit them even further in round 5. Speaking of round 5, let's start that right now with a prompt. For your round 5 prompt, I thought I'd try something potentially practical. Here it is. You wake up one morning to find your house completely infested with ants, who really just hate you personally. They've blocked all the exits and cut off your phone line, so you won't be moving or ordering an exterminator. How do you get rid of all the ants while trapped in your house? I urge you to be as unrealistic and wild as you possibly can be with this one. Do whatever you want. You can personify the ants, you can assume that you have odd items in your house, you can go with like movie logic, just do whatever you want. I want to see some insane shit this round, both in the realm of items and in responses. The deadline will be in the prompt message, you know how that works by now. Good luck everyone.